So give me a run for my money. Sipping bubbly, feeling lovely, living lovely. She's lovely. I wanna be with you, and I wanna be with. I wanna be with you, and I wanna be with. I wanna be with you. Me, just love me. If I didn't ride blade on her, would you still? If I'm in my mind at work, would you still? Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to. Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got nothing. I got something. Hold up, we gon' function. No assumption. Feeling like Tyson with it. Got out Tyson with it. Only for the night, I'm kidding. Only for life, yeah, only for life, yeah, only for life. Let's get it. Hit that shoulder, babe. I know it coming over me. Backstroke overseas. I know what you need. Already on 10, all money come in. All feeling go out. This feeling don't drought. This party won't end. If I didn't ride blade on her, would you still? If I'm in my mind at work, would you still? Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to. Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got nothing.
Hi, how are you? Good and stuff. I hope you don't mind that I'm recording.
Okay, so I'm gonna get a croissant melt.
Is that where the stuff is in the croissant?
Yes. I'm gonna get a croissant melt, and pecan chocolate croissant as well, and a cappuccino XL.
Excellent. Thank you.
XL cappuccino, croissant nuts, and chopping croissant.
Yes.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yo, welcome to a day in the life of vlog with your boy Just Kaita, and today we're operating a calm day in the life. So the way this is set up, I don't even think this camera can show me, but I'm hoping it does. But yeah, welcome to a day in the life. Today we're operating a calm solo date. You know, as a guy, we got a solo date. We're doing a calm solo date. We're solo dating, our calm breakfast with some Bible study on top of that, you know. I think this is a nice way to get like a new environment on like doing Bible study. And it's a good way to just explore, man. Come on, we're doing Bible study at a cafe. We're at Bootlegger right now. I chose this because the aesthetics, you know me, aesthetic hang. But yeah, when I do a calm Bible study with our food as well, you know. I'm really excited for it. A calm chill day just for me, you know. I don't really spend myself or take myself out. I'm always taking this one out. I want to go out with people. And I'm like, this time, you know, let me take myself out and let's see how it goes. And I'm enjoying it so far. I can't even lie. Of course, you know, the guababa for the camera and the setup is there, but it's like, people know, man, we're on the come up. And as you also, I ordered my food, so I'm just waiting for it now. I came from the gym, as you can see, the gym bag. So the lambile is lambile. But we're gonna pray before we eat. But of course, y'all know I'm in Matthew. I'm deep inside Matthew. Like I'm deep in it. I'm deep in Matthew, and today we're gonna be on chapter 16. Chapter 15 and 16. So I did 15, I think the day before yesterday. Just to get that refresh, we're gonna do 15 again. Then after 15, we're gonna do 16 as well. But stay tuned for the vlog. 2026 content vlogging, you know. I'm trying to get back into it like heavy. So let's hope and see, you know. And I'm saying this now so y'all can hold me accountable, so that I actually try and make content, you know? Because I'm trying, people, I'm trying. I'm not the best, but I'm trying. But as we wait for my food, you know, I've been meaning to say that, you know, I think as Christians, a bunch of times, and a lot of us, you know, especially us who speak about it online and speak about our faith and speak on, like, Christ as a whole, on reading the Bible, I think there's not necessarily a stereotype, but there's this impression that these are the people who are like all knowledge in faith, you know, who live these perfect godly lives. And it's in a way like crazy, especially because I believe that even people like myself who are trying to make content, whether it's based on God or something else, it's always the type of thing where we're not perfect as well, you know. I don't want, because I've met people, oh, you're such a man of God, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my food has arrived. Yeah, but yeah, it's always the type of thing where it's like, oh no, Christians, they built like a sort of like people speak on content. There's this impression where it's like all these people are men of God, they live this perfect godly life. Well, we're not perfect as well, and we make mistakes as well. But at the same time, what we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do personally, by speaking on content, is make other people aware and knowledgeable on the Word of God. That doesn't mean that, oh, I am living this perfect godly lifestyle way, I don't make mistakes, but it's the type of thing where I am still trying to get better as well, in my faith and walk. But yeah. Oh, this thing looks. This thing looks. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Are y'all seeing this thing? This thing looks like, bro, like it's gonna smack. But I don't want it to get cold at the same time. I'm gonna just give it some time. Oh, my mic. I'm gonna just give it some time. I'm waiting for the coffee. I just wanna jump into the food when the coffee is not there. Some of us gotta pray. But we're waiting for the coffee right now.
Sipping bubbly, feeling lovely, living lovely. She's lovely. I wanna be with you, and I wanna be with you. I wanna be with you, and I wanna be with you. I wanna be with you. Me just love me. If I didn't ride blade on curve, would you still? If I'm in my mind at work, would you still? Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to. Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got nothing. I got something. Hold up, we gon' function. No assumption. Feeling like Tyson with it. Got out Tyson with it. Only for the night, I'm kidding. Only for life, yeah. Only for life, yeah.
I'll never be more loved than I am right now. Wasn't holding you up, so there's nothing I can do to let you down. Doesn't take a trophy to make you proud. I'll never be more loved than I am right now. Going through a storm, but I won't go down. I hear your voice carried in the rhythm of the wind to call me out. You would cross an ocean, so I would.
As I said, we're in Matthew chapter 15 right now. I was planning on doing one big overview at the end of each chapter, since we're doing 15 and 16, and then at the end of 15, stop there and do 16. However, that's gonna, I don't know, how I'm thinking of breaking it down. Get to a certain point in 15, explain, continue, explain, continue, explain, just for this specific video. But yeah, Matthew chapter 15, it starts off with the Pharisees telling Jesus, why do your disciples act like this? Act like how? Not wash their hands properly before they eat. Because it was going against the law said in the Old Testament. And Jesus was like, why do y'all, let me read it for y'all. This is verse 4. For God said, respect your father and your mother. And whoever curses his father or his mother is to be put to death. But you teach that if a person has done something he could use to help his mother or father, but says this belongs to God, he does not need to honor his father. In this way, you disregard God's command in order to follow your own teaching. You hypocrites. So I think the big thing about this was just Jesus calling the Pharisees and the teachers hypocrites, because the Pharisees and the teachers were so quick to judge Jesus' disciples for not washing their hands, whilst on the other hand, the Pharisees themselves were going against the law. And I'm not going to compare the laws right now, but not washing your hands against honoring your mother and father, that's like two separate and two big different laws to go against. So Jesus called them hypocrites. Why did they do this? Because in this moment, they were quick to judge someone else for their wrong, whilst in the same time, they were disobeying and creating their own law, They were manipulating God's law. that not God's law was said in the Old Testament, but they're manipulating it to meet their needs. So why are you judging someone else for their wrong, whilst on the other hand you do the same thing? Reminds me of a verse in Matthew as well, where it says, "Do not before you talk about the speck in your brother's eyes, take out the log from your eyes." Basically, before you judge someone else on their sin, make sure that you're not sinning or not living in sin.
Because they were so quick to judge the disciples, whilst themselves they were not creating,
But disregarding another law. And then we move on to verses 8. These people say, "God honor me with their words, but their heart is really far away from me." This stood out to me specifically because it just tells us about how many people honor God with their mouth. "Oh, I'm Christian, I'm a man of God, I'm a child of God." However, their heart posture is in a completely different space. Yes, you say you're Christian, however, the way you're behaving is a total opposite. You're Christian, yes, to live a Christian lifestyle. However, the way you're living is not going in accordance to what you say. "Oh, I'm Christian, so why are you still living in this way? They honor me with their mouth. You're honoring God with their mouth. "Oh yes, I'm a Christian, I believe in God," but their heart is far away from God. This goes back to the topic before the whole Bible study, where I said that people speak about the word shouldn't get an impression of oh, they're so high in a way. All these people are so people of God, they're the best and stuff like that. Because to be honest, we're not. We're still have our own sinful spaces that we're trying to get out of, that we're trying to fix. That's why don't judge others quickly, even if it's not the judgment of like, "Oh no, he's such a man of God." Now, me here, I struggle with my sin as well. That's something I want to talk about more as well, that I have sinned. I do sin, but at the same time, I'm trying to stop. Not even trying, I want to, I want to stop certain sins that I commit, certain activities that I do, because that's not aligning with what I say, what I'm trying to teach. I can't come and say, "Oh, stop doing this," while at the back I'm still doing it. That's me being a hypocrite. That's why every day we gotta try to be better.
But yeah, that was verse 7 and 8. Now we're going to move on to verses 11 and 18. Jesus teaches us that it is
not what goes into a person's body or goes into a person's mouth that makes him ritually unclean, but what comes out of it. And verses 18 explains this even further, that you don't become ritually unclean because you eat pork or because you eat a certain type of food that other people don't eat. No, what makes you ritually unclean is what comes out of your mouth. Why? In verse 18, it tells us that what comes out of your mouth comes from your heart, meaning that it determines how you really feel. If you're going to speak evil, that means your heart is filled with evil. If you're going to speak on negativity or bad things or things that are ritually unclean, that all of those things you say stem from your heart. Therefore, you'll be ritually unclean because of what you say. And it's not really about, "Oh, I eat pork. Oh, you're unclean." It's not that. It's about what you say. If you're going to preach the devil's word, then that makes you ritually unclean because that stems from your heart. That's why your heart posture is. It's far away from God. It's like these verses are connected. I can't even lie.
they are connected. But at the same time, I'm explaining it here, but they all feel like they're all like intertwined.
Holding you up, so there's nothing I can do to let you down. Doesn't take a trophy to make you proud. I'll never be more loved than I am right now. Going through a storm, but I won't go down. I hear your voice carried in the rhythm of the wind to call me out. You would cross an ocean, so I wouldn't drown. You've never been closer than you are right now.
So the plan was to do like a couple of verses explain, but my phone is low, so we're not gonna do that, unfortunately. I hope this thing is saying right. But we ended off verses 15, and I did do verses 16 as well. I think I'm gonna give an overview, like a breakdown of each specific one. I might also need to get a drink because your boy is thirsty.
I might get Frizzoccino, peppermint crisp,
Frizzoccino. This is something new that I haven't tried. I'm gonna do a taste test here in the beginning as well. I'm gonna just call my waiter when I see he's looking this way. But
verses 15.
hi, how are you?
Could I please also get another? Can I get where is it? A Frizzoccino, the peppermint crisp.
Yeah, does it come in the plastic containers? Because I might leave with it.
I can give it to you and take it.
Yes, please. Thank you. Yeah.
So
The way verses
15 ended. Let me just read it back so I can,
verses 24, where Jesus says, I have sent only to the lost sheep. I have been sent only for the lost sheep of the people of Israel. Yes, basically means that Jesus has been sent for the lost. Not sent for those who are saved, for those who are perfect, but he's been sent for those who need him. He's been sent for those who need his presence, who need his saving, who need his saving presence, and to be brought back to Christ, to be made anew, to take away their sins and their diseases. These are the people he's been sent to, not the perfect and the pure, but the imperfect and the impure. And if you look at it properly, everybody is imperfect and impure. Therefore, we all need Jesus. Therefore, he's been sent
for us.
Then we move on to verses 32 to 39. That whole part is basically Jesus multiplying the fish, the bread and the fish. Bread and the fish. How am I explaining this part is the reason Jesus multiplied this bread and the fish firstly is because he loved all the people who are with him. So they were all with him for 3 days, and Jesus felt pity, not pity, but he felt sorry for them. He was like, in the verse here, he said, I feel sorry for these people, for they came to spend this time with me, and I'm afraid to let them go, for they might faint because of their hunger. Do we have fish and bread? The disciple said, no, we don't have fish and bread. Where are we going to get fish and bread? I mean, there's thousands of people here. Where are we going to get fish and bread? Jesus says, bring me the one fish you have and the piece of bread we have. And Jesus raised it up and multiplied it. Said thanks be to God, praise the Lord, and he multiplied this. The reason he did this now is because he loved the people so much. For Jesus so loved the world that he provides for them. And the reason, I broke it down as that the reason Jesus did this, because he didn't have to, they could just go home. But the reason he did this was because those people put him first. They put God's will first. So in them putting God's will first, Jesus is like, okay, since you put God first, God will do something for you, You put God first, you sacrifice your time and your hunger. Now watch him repay you and give back to you, And he provided for them. Even there was so much that they even had to pack more in a basket. It was extras. Imagine extras, extras. Then move on to verses 16, which is relatively short. I still think I need to read it again, but from right now, what I have read was verses 6, 8, and 12. And this is chapter 16 as well, In these verses 6, 8, and 12, what was happening was that they crossed over to the other side and the disciples forgot the bread. Jesus told them, be careful or be aware of the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Now, because they forgot their bread, in their head they're thinking, oh, just talking about the bread. Oh, we forgot the bread. We don't have bread. And Jesus tells them and tells them how little faith that you have. You watch me perform all these miracles, multiplying all this bread for thousands of people, yet you still have little faith. Because Jesus wasn't even warning them or telling them about bread, but telling them the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, meaning the rise, the teachings of the Pharisees and Sadducees. And because they're so fixated on the bread, they didn't really give themselves time to understand this specific instruction from God. So in them not focusing on that and focusing on bread, God builds their little faith. Because the only reason you're going to have stress about the bread is because you're worried, oh, we won't have bread. But you read the person who you've seen multiply for 4,000 people. What is 12 disciples? That's nothing for my mind. It's like how little faith you have, So with us, it's like we know God provides, yet we still worry. Oh, I don't have money for this. We still worry how, regardless of us knowing that we serve a God who provides for us continuously, with our needs and everything.
Then we move on to verses 16
something just short and sweet that says, we just asked Peter, who do you see me as? And Peter said, the Son of Man, the Messiah, the living Messiah. Short and sweet, just tells us who Jesus is, you know? And then lastly, in verse 23, when Jesus told his disciples and Peter that, oh no, I will die, I'm going to Jerusalem, I will die, and after 3 days I'll rise again. Peter was like, God forbid, I rebuke that, you know? And Jesus said, ooh, get away from me, Satan, you know? And the significant part about this is that the reason Jesus said, get away from me, Satan, is because in Peter rebuking what Jesus had said, he was going against the will of God. Because it was God's will for Jesus to die on the cross and rise again after 3 days. Now, in you rebuking it, it's like, oh, that's Satan trying to prevent God's will, you know? So it just made me think of how anything that goes against God's will is not from God. And if it's not from God, it's from Satan. Because things come from two places. Whether it's good or bad, it's either from God or from Satan. Now, if it's not from God, then it automatically means it's from Satan, you know? So, yeah. Yeah, I hope you all are enjoying this so far.
Tonight right now wasn't holding you up, so there's nothing I can do to let you down. Doesn't take a trophy to make you proud. I'll never be more loved than I am right now.
Going through a storm, but I won't go down. I hear your voice carried in the rhythm of the wind to call me out.
6, 7 out of 10, to be honest with you. Instead of 10, 7 out of 10.
But once you eat it together,
It's a good 10 out of 10. I can't even lie.
this is actually really good. But yeah, it's time to pay.
And there's no money, so
So give me a run for my money. Sipping bubbly, feeling lovely. Living lovely. She's lovely. I wanna be with you. Ay, I wanna be with you. I wanna be with you. Ay, I wanna be with you. I wanna be with you. Me, just love me. If I didn't ride blade on curve, would you still? If I'm in my mind at work, would you still? Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to. Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got nothing.